A lot of people think that convertible cars are for show-offs. It doesn't matter how mean they look, how much power they have, or how aggressive they are. People always think that they're for hairdressers. And I used to think that too, until I jumped into a BMW M4. Ah! My knee! See, here's the thing about the M4 drop top. It might be roofless, but it's also ruthless. See what I did there? This thing's got over 430 horsepower, over 400 torques. That's enough to do some serious damage. There is nothing soft about this car. I'm gonna set my stall out early on this one. It's good. More than that, it's brilliant. But let's keep it real. No car on this planet is perfect. So if you're one of those people that has a negative outlook on life, AKA you're a hater, I think it's only right we looked at the flaws. One of the biggest problems, I think, is with the looks. It's not as mean as it could have been. This is a car that can do 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Not a lot can keep up with it. And yet, if you're not an M aficionado, then you might not appreciate the sheer menace. Another big issue is with the weight. The new M4 Convertible is 60 kilos lighter than the old M3 Convertible, and yet it's 250 kilos heavier than the M4 Coupe. Plus, all this weight is up here. It's got a high center of gravity, and that surely can't be good for handling. In sports car terms, you could say it's had one too many pies. Another beef, the sound. The new M4 uses a smaller engine than the M3, and it's turbocharged. As a result, it doesn't sound anywhere near as good. Some people actually say it sounds like an angry diesel, which is about the biggest insult you can give any performance car. So as you can see, the car is riddled with problems. It's kind of tame looking, the roof is slow, it's lardy, it sounds a bit pants. Game over, right? Nah, game on. My bad, let's try that again. Back to a couple of the issues I raised earlier on, starting with the looks. Okay, if you're gonna pay about 60, 70,000 pounds for a car that can almost out-accelerate a Ferrari, then I think it's only right that you expect something that looks outlandish, and this doesn't. This is based on the BMW 3 Series, so of course it has to toe the company line, but it still looks awesome. They've changed the front and rear bumper, lowered the suspension, and added a load of aggressive tweaks to make it stand out. Sure, there are two types of people in this world. One set who want everyone to know they spent 70 grand on a car, and another set that want to spend that cash without shouting about it. And the BMW M4 Convertible toes that line perfectly. People who know about this car will appreciate it, and the people that don't, well, they'll think it's understated. Genius. The next issue, the roof. Some people might say it's a problem because it adds so much weight to the car, but honestly, there's so much power that it doesn't matter. It will do 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye and top out at 155 miles an hour. In terms of dynamic handling, well, I can't feel that extra weight anywhere. It just feels agile as hell. Sure, if you go on a track day and you're really pushing the car, then that extra weight might begin to tell, but out on normal roads, you will get nowhere near the full potential of the M4. You'll kill yourself before you do. Some people might moan about the roof being too heavy or too slow. Like I said, it takes about 20 seconds to fold or unfold. But moaning about the roof in your convertible sports car being too slow is such a first world problem. Get over yourself. You know what? I would rather pull over and wait those 20 seconds and annoy everyone around me just so they can see what car I'm in. Yeah, it's slow. Deal with it. Just another quick word on the roof actually. It might be England in the middle of winter and it might be raining right now, but I'm so toasty. Most of that rain just goes right over the top of the car, and as long as you've got the windows up on both sides, then you feel really warm. It's brilliant. Plus, BMW have installed these air vents behind your head in the headrest, and they funnel warm air onto your neck, a bit like a scarf. So even though people outside the car might think you're being a bit of a douche driving around in winter with the top down, I'm toasty as hell. Final point about the engine noise. Okay, the old M3 Convertible used a 5-litre V8 and it revved all the way up to 8,000 RPM and it sounded pretty damn glorious. The new M4s, including the Convertible, well, they use a 3-litre 6-cylinder engine, twin turbocharged, and of course they don't sound anywhere near as good. BMW have done a little bit of work to try and improve the audio by adding some valves in the exhaust and also by funneling some noise through the speakers in the car, through the subwoofer, so you get a little bit of low down rumble. It doesn't work quite as well as having a naturally aspirated V8, but to me it sounds bloody brilliant. As much as I love the performance and the posing and the power, my favorite thing about the M4 Convertible is definitely the gearbox. It comes in a manual as an option, but I reckon you should get the MDCT, the dual clutch transmission. Now it's a twin clutch unit, and that means it can hold one gear while pre-selecting another one for super fast gear changes. What's more, they're perfectly smooth, if you want. It has a special mode in the transmission that allows you to select how ferocious the gear changes are, so they can be totally imperceptible, or you can get a real kick in the back. It's actually really terrifying if you have it in its hardest mode. If you accelerate and change gear, the car will lose traction at the back and actually kick the rear end out. It's scary as hell, and sometimes you think you're going to lose control completely, but then the traction pulls the car back in line and you're safe again. You can almost imagine the conversation between the engineer that developed the gearbox and someone upstairs in BMW. The engineer is like, "But sir, I've spent all my life developing this 7-speed DCT with imperceptible gear changes. And you want to do what? You want it to lose control?" Sorry, my German's terrible. But then the response would be, "Achtung! Do it now, you c***! Make it lose control!" Forget the misconceptions, the stereotypes, the low expectations. This might be a drop top, but the M4 Convertible is just as badass as the Coupe. Haters might hate, but anyone with half a brain won't be able to deny this car looks fantastic, goes like stink of putrefied fish guts, and you can enjoy all of that while getting a 155-mile-an-hour blow dry. It's murderously quick, menacing to look at, and magic to drive, just like an M car should be. So it's a hell of a car on the road, but it's also a hell of a car when standing still. Just being in and around the Wraith is incredibly special.